If you're wondering how there are 1,000 Joe Rogans, but there's only one Hasan Piker, that's the reason. Because no one is schizophrenic and autistic enough to constantly sit there and eat it every day and not become a monstrous person who says, fuck all of this, I'm going right wing. So cute, my little Hasanito. This video pretty much sums up the issue.
And
oh yeah,
I know y'all don't want to hear this, but even the people who say they don't like cops and say ACAB are cops, like a lot of y'all are cops. There is this social phenomenon where people will find a public target, which is usually someone who makes minor, and I'm emphasizing minor because there are some egregious things that people can do, but minor missteps, minor mistakes, and they will like treat that person like a public punching bag until the end of days. And I peak game, right? Because people will like literally see someone who becomes an acceptable social target, and no matter what that person does, no matter how they apologize, no matter what they contribute to society, no matter how good they are of a person outside of the mistakes that they make, no matter if they have one take even that is like slightly off or that like people deem to be a little problematic, it becomes okay to like publicly harass and beat up on that person to the end of time. That to me is cop behavior. And look,
I've talked about this before. It's accountability culture in air quotes, and it stems from powerlessness. It stems from a recognition of your real powerlessness in the face of these unmoving structural hurdles, these unmoving oppressive systems that we exist under. We know that we can't change the government. We know that we can't actually like change the outcome of police brutality, no matter how hard we try. So we focus on more accessible targets, more appropriate targets. This is what a lot of the left does. Oh, well, you know, I can't get anything across to the Democrats. I can't get anything across to the Republican Party. I can't change the systems, even though there are so many awful things that are happening around the world. I see it and it hurts me and it hurts my feelings and I want to change it, but I can't. But where do I have change? Where can I see change? If I can get a TV show canceled, if I can get a written apology from, a TV show that I watch, a late night television show host that I watch, that's the only marginal area where you can have some semblance of change. Okay? And you just really keep hammering that on because it makes you feel like you have agency. It makes you feel like you have some semblance of power. That's why a lot of people do it. It's that. It's the obsession with crime and punishment for social slights, perceived social slights. Okay? And it's also a tendency for behaving in a puritanical manner, like wanting to behave in a puritanical manner. A lot of people also have an evangelical streak. If we're being real, even if they themselves are not self-identifying Christians. And all of those things combined, I think, all of those things combined create this very interesting dynamic. Is it me, or is calling you a frat bro exactly what you were just addressing with leftists being unforgiving and judgmental? Yeah, it was. It's just like, oh, you present yourself a certain way and I don't like it and it annoys me. And then the closest comparison that someone can make in that regard is not someone who is under a microscope for fucking, 7 hours a day while discussing these issues, but someone who is a politician who has to carry themselves very differently and is certainly not under that same lens. Anyway. Brother, can you quit saying the left like you are also not a part of the left? It feels pretty damn insulting to us that consider ourselves leftists. What do you mean? I also say I do it too. I'm a part of this as well. But the more we do this, the more inaccessible we seem to others who are in our reach. That's the other thing. We don't actually let bygones be bygones. We're not charitable to people who like fucked up. And to the outsiders who look at that situation and say, well, I've done things like that. But this broad left movement sees this person as a fucking demon, as an animal, sees that person as a villain. Am I a villain? And that's the moment where they go, I'm not even approaching this shit with charitability. That's the problem. We do this to ourselves. Can you give us an example? I mean, there are a million examples that take place on a daily fucking basis. There are so many people that are constantly cast aside. Like here, I'll give you an example so that we can have drama over it if you want. Okay? I'll give you an example so there's a serious drama that we can relitigate. Like people were screaming at Cutie Cinderella. And I looked through the people that were yelling at Cutie Cinderella. Not many of them were actually fans of mine because Cutie Cinderella responded to Aiden Ross and Asmongold doing a fucking a competing award show or something. And everyone got mad at her. And they were like, why are you highlighting these right-wing figures? It's true. Aiden Ross and Asmongold are right-wing figures. Okay? They are. But like, this is not any sort of serious, sincere advocacy. And I'm not even taking ownership over the people that were doing that because like I literally looked to see if these were like genuine fans of mine or something. Because guess what? They weren't. But also guess what? Every other community that saw people yelling at Cutie Cinderella, do you know what they think? They think it was my audience that did that. Because anyone who feels slighted by a hall monitor on the internet, okay? Anyone who feels slighted by a hall monitor on the internet immediately associates that with the broad leftist movement. And for many people who have horse blinders on, that don't see the world outside of this like little confine that we exist in this little echo chamber that we live in, I am the representative of all things left and all things woke. They don't see so many people that would yell at Cutie for something like that also yelling at me, saying I'm anti-black, saying this, saying that. They don't see that shit. Or when they do, they go, oh, here it is. These fucking woke libtards are eating each other alive once again. For the average person, they don't have the political education to sift through the different sects of the left, the different ideological tendencies of the left. They just broadly see everything as the Democratic Party, libtards, and they look to all of us in that same way. I'm not exactly certain how we move beyond this because this is historically, this is as long as the left has existed, you know? But that's just unfortunately the reality. We are presented to everyone else as the more toxic. We are always presented as the more toxic version of Asmongold. Just so you know, not to like the normies, but at least on the broader like internet culture arena, I need you to understand something very important. People think we are more annoying and more toxic than rapacious, monstrous right-wingers because there is a sense of comfort that the average person has with a rapacious, monstrous right-winger, even if they are literally victim to their relentless attacks. Black and brown people. You can extend this to even the Donald Trump vote, because most people don't have the political education. They just simply look at the vibes, and the vibes are liberals are annoying. Liberals are the annoying HR people at your job, or liberals are the annoying hall monitors at your school, and that they're constantly fucking yelling about shit that doesn't matter. They're constantly checking people. They're constantly saying, like, you're doing this, you should be doing something different. Fuck you. This is irredeemable. The vibes have been fucked for decades. Very difficult to overcome this problem. Okay? But the right, not having any sort of moral standard at all, gives people a sense of comfort. It gives the average onlookers a sense of comfort. Okay? It makes the average person go, I don't fully agree with whatever the fuck these guys are saying. But ultimately, it kind of feels like these assholes would never come after me and yell at me unless I become woke. That's how a lot of people find themselves in the comforts at like the apolitical middle. Okay? That's, if you're wondering how like this Joe Rogan of the left conversation works, right? That's how it works. If you're wondering how there are 1,000 Joe Rogans, but there's only one Hasan Piker, that's the reason. Because no one is fucking schizophrenic and autistic enough to constantly fucking sit there and eat it every day and not become a monstrous person who says, fuck all of this, I'm going right wing. Nobody wants to do it. Why the fuck would anybody want to constantly be harassed by the right and then simultaneously get harassed by the left too for marginal differences in opinion or perceived slights? No one wants to do it. Why the fuck would anyone want to do it? Even with all the fucking money that you can make. I really hope you get schizophrenia. I will be the first medical internet-induced schizophrenia patient. Don't worry. Twitch CTE, baby. That's it. There's a reason why there is a reason why so many people look to broadly what the left represents and only sees being fucking annoying. Like only sees the vibes as annoying, smarmy hall monitors. Is one of the worst aspects of the left broadly. And it's something that I try to, for the past decade, change. And it still doesn't fucking work. Even in this community, there's hella people that go crazy. Your niche is on the left. The right wouldn't welcome you or take you even seriously at this point. You're so fucking stupid. The right takes in rapists, brother. You're so dumb for that statement. Are you fucking kidding me? The nuts that they would fire off if one day I were to be like, yeah, fuck this socialism bullshit. You know, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm actually a liberal. I'm actually a reasonable liberal who agrees with the right on every single issue all the time suspiciously. Are you fucking kidding me? I know the talking points better than the right does. You know how fucking easy that swing would be? I'll be getting welcome to the fucking White House. They've named the ballroom after me. They don't have one fucking charismatic figure on the right. What are you talking about? If I can actually operate in this unimaginably hostile fucking water, I don't know, they do be Islamophobes. Yeah. You know what they love though? A guy who shits on Islam with the former backing of being Muslim. If I had no morals, whatsoever, if I had no fucking moral compass, if I was a grifter, I would just grift to the right. Think about all of the top deities on the right, top fucking figureheads on the right. They got nothing. They got no motion. They're not charismatic. They don't have no riz. They don't ever have to fucking navigate the treacherous spaces of being a fucking leftist. There's no purity testing on the right. They just go, oh, you like Trump? Great. I remember Your Rage was open to doing a collab stream a few years ago, but he said he changed his mind after he saw how much shit you got for even thinking about playing the Harry Potter game. If they treat their own man like that, how are they going to treat me if I fuck up? Was his reasoning for dropping the collab idea? Yeah. Yeah. And I know for a fact so many people are not going to understand the broader lesson here that I'm trying to fucking instill upon my audience and think, oh, he's just fucking sad that he can't fuck around with his millionaire buddies. Oh, woe is me. Big old millionaire. Can't even hang out with his millionaire buddies and he's offended and he's sad. No, dude. It's the overall vibes that we put out. Most people, we don't market ourselves at all. We just don't. We don't fucking market ourselves. And we just expect people to get on board because we're right without even presenting an argument as to why we're right. Add on to that the misinformation spiral that people go through. And there you have it. That's why I always laugh. That's why I always laugh at people who are like, I see TikToks of the very same people that are constantly being like, this person is fucked up and wrong. This person on the left is a bad person, who then will literally turn around and in the same breath be like, why are there no visible figures on the left? I wonder why. Because you killed them. Like, what do you mean? And the only people who can actually overcome that, because if you are trying to become a propagandist for the left, you literally have to just never listen to that noise. Okay? You have to make sure that you abide by your principles and you're honest with yourself and you're honest with your audience, and don't get disturbed by the noise. Okay? Don't do it. There are a lot of people in here who for many, many years have told me, oh, we shouldn't allow this person in the community, or we should be less open-minded about like perceived slights, even if they're on a journey of learning. Like shutting off people entirely from the journey of self-development, right? We do this all the time. And those people, because I don't listen to them, can now benefit from a much larger community of support. Because if I were to do that when I had 35 viewers, I would have stayed with 35 viewers. If I were to do that when I had 350 viewers, I would have stayed at 350. If I were to do that at 3,000 viewers when the demands were being made, I would have stayed at 3,000 viewers. And I didn't do it. There is no value in perceived exclusivity. There is no value in gatekeeping, especially if your goal is to instill broad awareness, to unlock class consciousness. You know?
Y'all gonna jump me for this, but like, we always dismissing the intolerant left thing, but I do think there's something to explore around how there is like such a thing as being punitive and unforgiving, and it happens a lot in online.
Like, look at this fucking asshole. Like, oh man, you really did me so solid. Thank you. Just to prove a cynical point, you're willing to call yourself a Nazi publicly. Like, what are you doing? Okay, fuck you then. How about that?
Faces. And look, somebody 2 decades from now should not be paying for like using a slightly phobic word, or even if they do apologize and acknowledge it, or saying something out of pocket once and acknowledging it and not saying it again. I do think I do think like y'all are cops. No shade. No shade, no I do. Oh wait, and one more thing. A lot of the times these targets are women, queer people, black people, brown people, mostly black people, and then some disabled people. If it's a person on the margins, it makes it easier for y'all to do it because it justifies you hating people who are marginalized, because you won't do it with your chest outside of that. And a lot of y'all who claim to be like radical social justice oriented people are just as bad, if not worse.
天上太阳风呀风通通的，心中太阳是毛泽东的，他反映了我们的阶段的，这里本身当家做主人，一呀一自由，两呀自由啊。